There's a lot of different types of fishing, and as an angler, I want to do each and every one of them. I've tried bait fishing, lure fishing, pier fishing, kayak fishing, surf fishing, fly fishing. That was fun. Go look at the video where I was fly fishing. You'll get a kick out of that. That was my first time ever. And of course, there is spear fishing. Today, we're going to talk about spear fishing from a kayak. The basic 3 ways to go off a kayak is to use a hookah system, go free diving, or use a tank. First up is a hookah system. You can build your own hookah system or you can buy them. They're quite expensive, but you can find them anywhere online. My compressor is an oilless, battery-operated compressor from Ryobi, and I will tell you, I love it. I've had 0 problems out of it, and I've been quite a few times with it. I have no problem breathing, and it provides me plenty of air. You do go this route and you make your own, by all means, make sure that you have an oilless compressor. Now, I use a 25-foot line, and that does a couple of things for me. Number one, it stops me from going further than 20 foot down. The second thing is it's easier to manage than the longer lines. I don't have to carry as much line, therefore it's not as bulky. Now, you can find regulators all over the place. You can find them at flea markets, you can find them at yard sale. If you go to a dive shop, some of them will actually sell you their older regulators. While you do not have to have a license to use a hookah system, you really should practice using one at home. Put it together, use it for a little while out of water and get used to it. Then don't go to open water, go into somebody's swimming pool or something like that, or even a bathtub and learn how to utilize it underwater. Make sure you're comfortable with this thing before you take it into open water. With a hookah system, you've got a couple of different buoyancy options. You can just get a weight belt and use that, which is perfectly fine. Or you can use a BCD. I use a Tossa Libero. I've had it for quite a while. It's done great for me. Now, this particular vest uses quick release weight bags. The best part about this is if I'm in a hurry, an emergency or something like that, I literally just pull on these 2 cords and they come out and release it and I go to the top. It really doesn't matter how you weight yourself down as long as it's something that you can release fairly quickly in case of an emergency. While freediving is the most minimalistic, it's also the most challenging in the technical part. Those of you who want to learn how to freedive are going to have to learn how to hold your breath for longer periods of time. I will say I can hold my breath for about 30 seconds. It's not a long time. Now, I want to get better at this because I want to do freediving because I like minimalistic. For the time being, though, I'm going to use the hook system until I get there. Now let's talk about the third option, which is diving with a tank from your kayak. Now, the best part about this is it's an in-between between the hookah system and freediving. And what I mean by that is you don't wear this on your back like an average scuba diver would. However, this would stay up on your kayak and you would utilize a line with a regulator on it, and then your air supply would be from a compressed unit. However, there is one drawback. You consistently have to have these things filled up. In order to have these filled up, you absolutely have to have a diving certificate. Now let's talk about the equipment that you're going to need for all 3 of these techniques. First up is a spear. I have what they call a Hawaiian sling. Now, the best part about this is it is minimalistic. You would normally have a surgical tube here, which I've removed because I keep mine outside and, well, the Florida sun would absolutely destroy it. But it would be strapped here. Then you would put your hand in it, just like a sling, and you would charge it by stretching that elastic tubing. And then when you let go of the spear, that energy would then transfer and then move the spear forward into the fish. Now, on every spear, you're going to have a tip. There are multiple tips. I mean, there's a lot of different ones. I have what they call a paralyzer tip. Now, it has 3 different spears and points at the end. I will tell you, there's as many different types of fins as there are different types of shoes. I'm going to be honest with you. I go to Walmart and buy the US diver ones. I've had no problems with them. I will tell you, as a precaution, to put an extra pair up on your kayak or inside your kayak, so that way if you do break a strap or something like that, you've got a backup and it doesn't ruin your fishing day. And lastly, we're going to talk about the mask. There are as many different types of masks as there are fins. However, there's one particular type of mask that I like to use, and it's got a valve under the nose, and it makes it a lot easier to clean the mask, and it also allows for a more natural type of breathing, and it goes out your nose instead of going out the sides of your mask. Now let's talk about the basic three options you have after you get a fish. You got stringers, nets, and coolers up on your kayak. I prefer the cooler, and I'll explain in a minute. There are a number of different types of stringers. You got the big D-loop stringer, you got the individual fish stringers, and you've just got the ropes. And there's a couple of new ones on the market that have like a buoy and a nice long cord to keep the fish straight. There's many different types of net bags that there are fishing nets. You just go find the one you like and the one you want to use and just use it. The reason I like to use coolers is because after I spear my fish and I put it in the cooler, the blood of that fish from where I just poked a hole in it is no longer around me. Sharks like blood. I don't like sharks, so I'm going to try and keep them away from me as much as possible. Practice, 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 practice. You want to make sure that you're comfortable with whatever technique you choose long before you take it into open water. Take a buddy. I can't say it enough. Take a buddy. Make sure that you have somebody with you in case you need some help. Whether it's free diving, hook diving, tank diving, or however you're going down there, it is diving and you're going to be under the water for quite a bit. Anything can happen under there, so always take a buddy. Stay calm. If you get in an emergency situation and you panic and freak out, underwater it's going to multiply that danger tenfold. And you don't want that. So stay calm. Know where you are. You need to know the area fairly well when you go. If you have to, take a couple of practice trips. Go out during low tide. Know what the rocks are. Know what the dangers are. Know where they're at. And know how you're going to avoid them long before you get in the water with them. Be sure to have a mapping system with you. Preferably a GPS. If you get in trouble and you need to call for help, you have the coordinates right here at your fingertips and they know exactly where to go to get you. That brings me to have a radio, some way of contacting somebody in case you need help. Cell phones are great, but I'm going to tell you, I've been to many places out on the water where a cell phone did not have reception. Test and maintain your equipment. You need to make sure that these things work perfectly and flawlessly long before you go to the water. Check the weather. The last thing you want to do is get out there on a nice sunny morning and about 3 o'clock in the afternoon it starts storming and 20-mile-an-hour winds come out. And you could have avoided it simply by checking a weather app. I don't go spearfishing unless it's nice and calm. Take snacks, especially if you're free diving. You're going to need that energy. I always take a number of light snacks with me when I go diving. And I never eat a big meal the morning of. Take shallow water trips first. Stay within 5 or 10 feet. The last thing you want to do on your first dive is panic in 30 foot of water. And if you're inexperienced, do not go more than 25 feet deep. There's a number of reasons for that. Finding fish while spearfishing is pretty much exactly how you find fish while you're surface fishing. Structures, points, and currents are your best allies. And if you're here in Florida, anywhere in the flat sands or mud, you're going to find flounder. Flounder are really easy because they don't scare so easily. Now, this is the part where I tell you to be sure to help us out and hit that like button. It helps us more than you know. And by all means, comment below. Let me know what your favorite style or technique of fishing is. Hit that subscribe button, strike that bell so you know when that content hits that channel. Now go be awesome.